Ahoy! Funny thing just happened, I just nearly finished my Wonderlands video that was coming out today, and in that very moment, this was announced. New World finally has its content roadmap for most of the year. Now I'm still playing New World, I only play Wars now, but I was hoping that maybe later in this year there would be a point where we get a lot of new content that, well, allows me to get back into the game. Here is what the roadmap looks like. In spring we have Tempest Heart's Expedition, that's something that's already announced, along with the Blunderbuss as the new weapon. Also, at some point of spring we'll have 3v3 PvP arenas and a PvP reward track. However, these 3v3 PvP arenas apparently do not come with leaderboards at the start. The PvP reward track wasn't exactly specified, but they said it had something to do with players that get better and that play PvP, so I don't know if it's actually tied to performance or just maybe the number of wins or something. I'm assuming it's likely the latter, so maybe you can get like 100 arena wins and then you can get some extra rewards or something. In summer we have another expedition, Barnacles and Black Powder that was data mined a while ago, a pirate themed one, along with the Expedition Group Finder and an unspecified summer event. Knowing the events that we had so far, this is probably going to be similar to the Christmas event, maybe a little bit smaller than that, because summer theme is something you can't as easily carry to all regions. But yeah, not really all too much new stuff here, it's just one expedition. And then last but not least, in autumn we have Brimstone Sands, the Aeneid Expedition, the new weapon Greatsword, leaderboards, Night Vale Hallow event, and the Turkulon event. The Night Vale Hallow event is a Halloween event. I'm assuming it's going to be more than last year. Last year is basically just skins, so there's going to be something happening. Well, Turkulon, they said there's going to be some changes to it, but I'm not expecting all too much from that. And mainly the content is going to be Brimstone Sands. Now overall I must say this is definitely not a lot. We have 2 expeditions to carry us over until autumn, and one of them will be extremely dull to repeat because Tempest Heart has a very long wind up to get to the bosses where you're just running around for a long time essentially. And yeah, I can't see the other expedition being so good and so fun that that's all people want to play for the entire summer basically. And most of the other stuff are gimmicks. A 3v3 arena without any level of matchmaking leaderboards involved. How much is that going to carry things over? I don't see that being very fun for very long, because otherwise people would be spamming 3v3 duels all the time. Like, yeah, you can get some rewards from it, but I don't know. It's nothing major to me personally. And I'm somebody who would really like to have a more small-scale PvP-centric focus in this game. I also think it's not exactly ideal that it's only 3v3, but I'm guessing that's because the player base is so low that adding more different modes would lead to too long queues, so they're kind of just playing it safe in that regard. Brimstone Sands the territory is probably going to be really cool, but people were hoping for it around January, February, March, April, not next autumn. When I got into New World, I assumed that by this autumn we would have our first major DLC that you would have to buy with a bunch of new content, and maybe then the base game would be available through Twitch Prime or something to increase the hype, and we are a far cry from that at this point. And I don't blame the devs here at all. My impression is that the dev team has been significantly scaled down since the game launched, and there's a relatively small crew working on trying to keep it somewhat alive at this point. Now there are things that are not listed here because it mentions at the bottom this roadmap may change and does not include all planned content. One mention they made was potentially having new mutations along the way and other changes regarding balance and so on. But at the same time I'm looking at this roadmap and I see no mention of improvements to PvP missions, I see no mention of changes to war, to invasions, nothing in regards to any potential raid content, which was once a topic of conversation. So there are many areas of the game that will remain very stagnant for a very long time, considering they are not mentioned here at all. I'm not even sure if they're planning to do at least a basic overhaul to the trading post by autumn. As such, I see very little reason to log into the game at this point, pretty much until Brimstone Sands is out. Maybe I'm going to try 3v3 a couple times, but I don't imagine it being all too exciting for all too long when there's not even any matchmaking behind it. It frustrates me a lot as someone who has invested tons of time into this game and gathered tons of knowledge about it that at this point it's not really even worth sharing because, well, who cares? Maybe one day New World can make that big turnaround, which a lot of games these days seem to be able to do, but it doesn't seem to be in the foreseeable future on this roadmap at least, and that I think is very, very unfortunate. In the meantime, I'm now fully going to shift my attention to Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. If you want to see videos about that and you want to get notified, make sure to click the bell and select all notifications, because otherwise YouTube will not notify you of any content outside of what you normally watch. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you for the next one soon, even though it won't be a New World video. Duke Sloth, out.